Hello, it is midday in Tripoli. It's 8 p.m. in Sydney. I'm Monita Rajpal.
And I'm Zain, Verjee. You're watching CNN, the world's news leader. And this is World One, live
First,
from London.
we begin in Libya, where ferocious battles are raging in many places across the country as rebel fighters try to choke the life out of Muammar Gaddafi's regime. They say they are closing in on the capital, Tripoli, a claim the government denies. But if the rebels are right, an endgame could be in sight. The Gaddafi government appears to have lost another senior figure, but it is rejecting rumors that Nasser al-Mabrouk Abdallah has defected. They're from Matthew. The Libyan government is allowing overseas journalists to report from inside the country, but as Ivan Watson is explaining, it does all it can to control the images that get out.
So this is how we pretty much get to see Libya outside of our hotel. On government-organized bus trips, all of the foreign press corps piled into here.
We now want to take a look at a story we've been reporting on for a number of weeks. The UN says 3.2 million people in Somalia need immediate help to survive the famine that's hit parts of the country. This is a story that unfortunately is not going away anytime soon. Media around the world are bringing it to readers and viewers' attention. We want to show you what some of the newspapers are saying today. In Australia, the Mercury's headline is "Food Center of Global Storm." The article says, while the world's well-fed talk of sovereign debt and bear markets, one seventh of the world's population gets hungrier. The cost of their food escalating, or their land becoming parched, degraded, or simply lost to an expanding city. In South Africa, The Witness has the headline, "Somalia is our shame." It goes on to say, speaking of the continent's reaction to the crisis, the opinion piece says, "We as Africa and as the broader international community have failed the people of Somalia and surrounding countries for the umpteenth time. We should all be ashamed for taking very little interest in the Somali conundrum as a whole and the famine in particular." And from the United Arab Emirates, the Gulf News looks at how desperate the situation has become under the headline, "Refugees abandon babies at camp." Quoting the charity Save the Children, the paper goes on to say, after walking from Somalia without food and water, it is clear that some parents feel that they cannot care for their children anymore, despite having reached help. And you can, of course, read all those articles in full at facebook.com/W1CNN. FBI has made an arrest in the U.S. over an attack on an Australian teenager who had a fake collar bomb attached to her neck. The suspect is 50-year-old businessman Paul Douglas Peters, an Australian citizen. More on this story with Hamish McDonald, a senior foreign correspondent for Australia's Network 10. He joins us now on the phone from Sydney. Hamish, thank you very much for being with us. This continues to be, I don't know, a really bizarre case because it just seems as though little bits of information is coming out now. And there was a note, we understand more information about a note that was left there on Madeline, say with financial demands, but also apparently, according to this note, there was also say to contact Paul Peters. It seems kind of strange.
Yeah, I mean, if this case wasn't fascinating enough already, more twists and turns straight out of the pages.
It would be a parent's dream if he could do that. Well, someone said it would actually be quite magical, especially what's happening in New Zealand with the weather there. Jill Brown joins us now from the World Weather Center with more on that. Jill.
Well, yes, with many of us enduring the heat, this may not look so bad. For folks in New Zealand, though, it has been rough this week with blizzard conditions and more snow.
It is setting up an independent inquiry into the riots that swept across the country last week. Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg says the panel will give communities and victims a chance to have their voices heard. It will be followed by a report in the next 6 to 9 months. Suggesting that British police should take advice from an American has provoked some strong reactions. We want to get the view of one of the UK's most senior policemen. Derek Barnett is the president of the Police Superintendents Association of England and Wales, and he joins us now. Sir, thank you very much for being with us. Do you think that the Prime Minister's suggestion of using Bill Bratton as an advisor is perhaps saying that you and your team and your cops don't know what you're doing?
I think some people may interpret it in that way, but I think what I would say is that Bill Bratton is regarded as an eminent police leader.
So on the streets of the UK, the streets of England last week, do you think that maybe perhaps now is time to change the idea of officers, beat cops, actually carrying guns?
Well, it's interesting because when you speak to our police officers, our constables and sergeants, inspectors, we regularly ask them what they think about this, and overwhelmingly
Ms. Barnett, thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
This is World One live
Welcome
from
back.
London.
We're taking a look at sport now, and here in England, Manchester City flexed their muscles as they got their Premier League campaign underway. Pedro Pinto's here with more on that. Flex their muscles.
Yeah, I won't flex mine. I don't think you can see much.
Under that suit?
Yeah, there's not much to see. They did flex their muscles, Manchester City, Monita. So much hype around this team these days with the crazy amount of money they have spent since the new owners took over.
You really are.
Well, I am.
Are you? Okay.
Otherwise,
trying to be nice.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd make a lot of money predicting the future.
Well, I know what the future is. You're watching World One live from London. Coming up.
Welcome back. You are watching World One live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York, almost 1 p.m. in Berlin, and almost 8 p.m. in Tokyo. We want to take a look at what's trending on social media right now. At number 3, the deal that took everyone by surprise. Google's plan to take over Motorola Mobility is one of the top trends. It's paying $12.5 billion to swallow up one of the best-known mobile phone brands, but Google's access to Motorola's mobile patents is the bigger talking point right now. At number 2, the president's checking in. The social networking site Foursquare has a new member, Barack Obama. In a blog post, the White House says users will be able to discover places President Obama visited, what he did there, plus his historical information. I'm sure the Secret Service is loving that. And it's just in time for Mr. Obama's bus tour right across the Midwest. And at number 1, Elvis Presley. Music lovers are marking the 34th anniversary of the singer's death. It is one of our most popular stories on CNN.com. Fans have been holding vigil at Graceland since early this morning. They're there all the time, though. That's the thing. Elvis died at the mansion in Memphis, Tennessee, and is buried on the grounds. Zain?
Monita, less than 3 years after the end of George W. Bush's presidency, another Texan has his eye on the White House.
CNN, New York.
Did he really wink at the Queen? He did. Got it on camera. You're watching World One live from London. I'm Zain Verjee.
I'm Monita Rajpal. I can't. Thanks for joining us. We'll update you on the top stories of the hour right here on CNN.